Okay, this is going to be the continuation of the first video. So I'm going to title these two videos part one and part two because, again, I'm talking about connections in regards to people. And then my battery is kind of dying as well. But I'll kind of speed it up a little bit because I didn't want to stay on here too long because I'll get more into what karmic family members and what soul family members are, or karmic connections and soul connections are. But, and I hope that you guys can hear me because everything was running through my car, but my car had just turned off and then my battery's getting low. So I'm going to wrap this up and not keep it long. But like I said, I'll go into more depth about this in another video. So again, we're talking about connections and you needing to pay attention to what your soul is, the messages that it's relaying to you. And the messages is just basically how you feel. Those are going to be the messages that your soul is relaying to you. So when we're connected with different individuals and as we're going along our healing journey, we're needing to pay attention to how we're feeling, how these connections make us feel, how these family members make us feel. When I disconnected from my family members, I didn't feel any type of connection or any type of relation to them at all other than just by blood, DNA, or whatever, last names or what have you. But on a soul level, I no longer resonated with them as I began to heal and evolve and become this new version of myself. And I'm still evolving and becoming the woman that I'm needing to be, not only for God, but myself and those that I will connect with along my spiritual journey that will be become a part of my soul tribe. But we're needing to listen to that. So if your soul is no longer resonating with, sorry, I was looking like that because somebody is really driving crazy. And that's not okay. And I cannot stand that. So anyway, probably somebody karmic. And then a fly came in my car. So, yes. I do not like flies at all. So I'm just like going to kill it because I don't do flies. And it's like in a space where it's hard to get it. And I'm like, just like, why? Okay, I got it. Because I wasn't going to be at peace with that fly in my car. I was not going to be at peace with it. It had to go. I mean, if you fly in my car and you're a fly, you good as dead. So anyway, back to it. Distraction. I apologize for the distraction. So anyway, back to my family members. I no longer resonated with them on a soul level. It was to a point where, they didn't call me, didn't check on me, I would call them. It just felt like a one-sided relationship. And, I was just like, well, what's the point? These relationships are not serving me any purpose. I really feel like they don't even like me, let alone love me. So what is the point? So I just started cutting off ties. And I felt really good about it. It did take a while. It did take a couple of years, even when I made the decision and knew what I needed to do, because, they are all that I've known all of my life. And, these people are all that you know. So it's not easy where you're just like, okay, I'm going to cut everybody off and then you do it tomorrow. It takes time to make that decision and implement it and really stand your ground and do what you know that you need to do, or do what you've been known that you needed to do for a long time. But there's emotions tied to it, there's nostalgia tied to it, there's a connection that's on a deep level because you share blood, you share a bond. It's just those are relationships that run deep, especially when dealing with the mother, because she brought you here into this realm through her portal. So that was, I would say, my mother and my brother, for whatever reason, were like the toughest ones to cut, and I wasn't even close with my brother or my mother either. Let's just keeping it real. But again, it was nothing that I did. Like I said, I just always felt like I was just being tolerated and just not really liked, and people can tell you they love you all day long, but it I'm being treated, how I'm being received, you know, it says everything, right? So if you're just saying it and then I'm feeling like you're just tolerating me, or you're not really happy to see me, or, you know, don't really care to have me around, or it's just something about me, my light just irritates your demons, no thank you. You know, I don't have time for that. So I had to release all of my family members. I don't, you know, I'm not in connection with any of them at all. I feel amazing. I feel lighter. I have so much peace. Let me say that again. I have so much peace because my mother, in particular, you know, just the demons and things that she was battling within herself, you know, I was just like her target, her point of attack. You know, so anytime, you know, she would get into her vices and feed into those, I was like the target to attack verbally. Every time it was like a cobra. Like anytime, you know, she would get into her vices, you know, it's like a cobra. Like she's just attacking me. And I've not done anything to that woman. I think being born was what I done to that woman. You know, but like I said, there's different people that, you know, test us and, you know, challenge us in our lives, depending on what, you know, our journeys, you know, and our tasks can, you know, consist of. So we're just gonna have different challengers, you know, different, you know, battles and that we face. And, you know, the mother-daughter, you know, dynamic was just not a, you know, a healthy one or a successful one for me. So that's always been a challenge for me, and I'll go more into that, what that looked like for me, what my experience was for those of you that are dealing with that or have dealt with that. But yes, we're needing to be mindful about the connections that we keep, because if they're not serving you on a soul level, especially if you're doing your healing work and you are growing and maturing spiritually, it's not going to serve you any purpose. It's just going to weigh heavy on you. So you have to ultimately make a decision that's going to make you happy and bring you peace and bring you joy. And again, it takes time to implement these decisions once they're made, because when you connect from a loved one, be it a romantic partner, friendship, or family, and they're all you know, or if you've known them for a very long time, it's not easy to disconnect. It's not easy to cut these people off if you have to cut them off entirely like I have. But you're looking at somebody that has done it. For those of you that may need to do it, may need to make that, you've drawn the conclusion that you may have to ultimately make that decision, or you're in the process, or you're going back and forth. It's possible you can do it. Like I said, you just may have to do it in steps, because it is a lot emotionally. You know, but it definitely, you can do it, especially if you feel like your soul depends on it. I felt like my soul depended on it, so I just did what I needed to do. But that's all that I wanted to get on here real quick to say, that if this is where you are along your spiritual journey, you can do it, and it's important to do. It's actually very necessary to do, so that when you remove the people that are not for you, the people that are for you can come in. Because these people that are not for you, they're just taking up the space that the people that are for you, that are meant to come into your life, should be taking up. If that makes sense, okay? So, I hope that you guys have a good night. It is day where I am, as you can see. Or a good morning or afternoon, wherever you are in the world. For those of you that have taken the time to like what I'm saying, I appreciate you liking what I say. I think it helps with the algorithm or whatever on YouTube, you know, getting views and whatnot. I'm not really big on that. All I care is that whoever needs to hear the message hears the message. I'm not big on likes and hypes and stuff like that. I'm not that type. So if you like it, cool. You want to comment, cool. We can talk there if you know, want to discuss some things in the comments. But I hope that you all have a beautiful night, afternoon, morning, day, and good day tomorrow. Take care of yourselves. Continue to do your healing work, because that is what's going to get you where you need to be when it comes to you becoming the man or the woman that God needs you to be. Not only for God, but for yourself. All right, so love, peace, and grace, everyone. All right, take care.